Hey Nappers, it's me, Wild Neptune. Go over the patch notes for the Christmas patch for CZN. So let's get started right away. Starting off, the third chapter of the event finally starts. This is the last one. Obviously, you have to beat the second act in order to get to the third chapter. Next up, the Great Rip second half begins. So if you haven't done the first half yet, make sure you get at least 500 points. It doesn't have to be in one sitting. It can be a cumulative over a couple of battles. However, you have to do this pretty soon. The actual Great Rift second half is the same as the first one in terms of, I believe, in scoring and everything should be relatively similar. Only difference is now that the boss is different. A supply store is open, so you'll be able to get currency that can be acquired in Lab Zero. Is this only Lab Zero? I don't... Is that still true? You can only get it in Lab Zero? I don't actually remember anymore. I don't really pay attention to that, but you see you have the premium summons, the regular summons, the camera summons. You have the potential with the Eco Crystal. This is not the dupe thing. That's an Omega code, which I do not see here, actually. The multidimensional, that is the gear, like stat selector thingy. You also have these hunter manuals and certificates for getting your new Serenial up and everything like that. So very good stuff over here. Friendship items, some battle data, and all the other good stuff too. So obviously you're probably going to want to buy most of this, and it might be a little bit easier to buy with some of the changes you'll see a little bit down below. Galactic disaster improvements, well, here we go. So it says here that Gate of Demise will be updated to ask about elevator and I have to seize all power. I don't know what this means, but okay. Also, the weekly progress for beating the Chaos Lab Zero will change a little bit, so we'll be getting more of the points. So as we know, you have to get 8,000 points in order to get all the achievements for that current week, and actually that's kind of difficult overall. Not difficult, but it does take a lot of time sometimes. So now they're making it so that clearing the chaos will give us more points. So from levels 4 and upwards, we only have to do full 2 clears in order to max out, which is pretty nice because I think a lot of people have actually gotten away from farming Lab Zero and have gone on to other chaoses to farm in the event. So all we have to do is 2 times. Will be very nice. New currency, Spectral Cube added. So this is the whale currency, where after you get a 5-star character to max imprint, and you get another one, you will now get this Omega Cube thing. Well, I guess it's called a Special Cube, and you get an Omega Code, which is a dupe item. And yeah, it seems to be no limit to how many you can get. It's also a 1-for-1, which is pretty nuts. So if you have say an E6 Renoa, right, and you get a copy of Renoa, you get a cube here, and then you can use it to buy any other character you want. Well, a dupe of a character you have. So dupes cost 1. You also have these are the gear things again. It's a prism summons. So see right here, everything does cost only 1. So yeah, and there's no purchase limit except for the prism module, which is where you can automatically make any card you want into an animated card. So yeah, being a pure 1-for-1, like you get a dupe of a character that you already have max duped for another dupe, is pretty nuts actually. That's actually better than other games, because other games usually you either have like parts of a character, so sometimes you'll get like half it. So in Nikkei, it's, I believe you get half the tickets to buy a random ticket thingy. In Ground Dust 2, it's also half of the tickets to get a character. In Epic 7, it was like a fourth of a character or something like that if it was a LD summon, and if it was an RGB, it's something like a sixth. I forget the exact numbers overall, but this is a lot more generous overall. And you might think to yourself, well, okay, that's really nice for the whales, but I'm never going to experience this. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. The truth is that if the game lasts for a long time, eventually, long-time players will get to E6 naturally, as long as they keep playing the game and they keep summoning overall, even if they're free to play. Uh, is this how it is, especially with the rate of characters? One every 3 weeks is, I guess that's about the same as Genshin and stuff like that, but it is relatively slow, especially for how many summons that they give us over time. And you might think to yourself, oh yeah, sure, they're only giving us like summons because the game is new. And that's partly true. However, as the game gets older, they will inevitably also give us more summons also to entice players to keep playing the game and to keep coming back. So I do think that in a couple of years, people, even free to plays, will be able to use this shop. But right now, yes, it is really only applicable to people who spend a lot of money on the game. We have a few new events, just some simple things to get some free stuff. Also, we have this little like Serenial chibi here, but it kind of looks like Paimon, I have to say. So don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, just some nice rewards and stuff like that just for locking in. So some crystals and some missions like level up a band, level up partner, go on an excursion. You know, all of these things here that you're gonna do naturally throughout just playing the game. And see all the good free stuff here. We also have the Towards the First Light event. This is another event we just do some things and get, well, free stuff. And again, just natural things that you'll do, like use Aether. Basically, all of it is use Aether and just read some stories. So just Tears of the God, which is the stamina or the energy. And you get some summons here and everything like that. So very nice event overall. And if you're worried that, oh, I have to plug in every day, well, you should be anyway, but it does last until the 14th of January, so you can miss a couple of days and still reach this without having to refresh energy or anything like that, which is very nice. Overdrive Simulation also, so this is the double drop event, which is only going to be for training, combatant, partner, and potential, so not for gear. We'll still have to see exactly how this works, but remember, it's up to 6 times a day for, well, the set of the actual run. It says 6 simulation runs, so I'm assuming that if you do an X3, that counts as 3. So, you know, maybe not the most extra jobs possible, but still something you're going to want to take advantage of. Now, which one of these do you want to get? Really up to you. I haven't really mapped out which one is more beneficial than the other one. All of them have their merit, so just look at your account and see what you need and go for that. There was also this returning player event. So okay, so I first thought it was going to be 21 days, 3 weeks, because that seems to be the requirement for other Smilegate games, but this one is only 2 weeks. I guess because the game is a lot newer. 3 weeks is like literally more than a third of how long the game's been active. So also, pros whose last participation was over 40 days ago, which is like nobody since this one. So if you get this event here, and you'll have to not play the game for another 40 days in order to get the event again, and just some small bonus stuff overall here that you can go and get if you're a returning player. Doesn't look like anything here is that insane, just some crystals, some policy stuff. So nothing that anybody who's been playing the game all this time should really feel upset about or anything like that. It's not insane rewards, just a little thing for players who want to come back and keep playing the game. There'll be a pair of login events. So one for some summons here. We have 1, 2, 3, 10 premium summons, and we have 5 of the normal ones. Very nice. Also getting the Ray event thing where we get the 10 prism modules. This is to get the animated cards. Also, a Serenial event. I think this is where you just kind of test out the characters and all of that. So you can find this in the events tab if you go to it. There's one for every single 5-star they release, so just some bonus free stuff just for doing a couple of battles. Pretty worth it to do in my opinion. So it's gonna be Serenial, Nia, and Selena, which leads me to believe that Nia and Selena are going to be the 4-star targets that are going to be with Serenial on her banner. And speaking of Serenial, well, here she is. She is a seasonal unit, which means that she is going to be limited and not added to the pool after she is gone. So mileage and everything works the same way. The pity works the same way too. So if you're close to pity on Chuzuru and you already have a copy of Chuzuru, well, that pity carries over to Serenial, so maybe you won't have to pull as much as you might have expected. Her Omega code or her dupe thing will be in the shop. However, it's only in the shop as long as she is up. So let's say you have 400 of that currency and you're thinking about spending it on the dupe. Well, you better decide before she goes away, because when she does, well, the game decides for you because you can't do it anymore. Anyway, here she is right here, Instinct Hunter, and here are going to be all of her stats. So, and this is all at max affinity here. So at 60, so 530 attack is pretty high actually really high. So see all of that right here. So hopefully you've been farming up her potential like I have. Anyway, so cards right here, starting with obviously your basic cards, so just regular damage cards, a shield card, which everybody will get rid of probably. You also have this homing laser with this afterglow. Afterglow is that increased tenacity and stacking damage that she has. That's her unique type of mechanic, everything like that. So homing laser also on Ravage, move the graveyard to hand. So when you Ravage, you use these homing lasers, and then after that, these come back, which is going to be pretty nice overall. You have a bunch of 1-card cards. You have a 3-cost. You also have a 2-cost here, so a pretty big mix of different costed cards overall. So you can look at all of these nice numbers over here. I'll be honest with you, these don't really matter that much before we actually see all the epiphanies and everything that she does have to offer. So this gives you like a kind of a baseline of what she can do. Now, as for her ego, which is her dupes, the first one will do plus 50% more damage to Pale Shooting Star and increase the number of activated homing lasers to 5. So her homing lasers is actually capped at 3 at first. So it makes this go from 150 to 200, and then you can do 5 of them. So pretty strong overall E1. Her E2, you create 2 homing laser cards at the start of the battle, and then on draw, if one of those cards is homing laser, you draw 1 card. This kind of gets around that in some cases is, since I play Renoa, I know that her bullets can clog up the deck, which is why I think getting the, at least for sustained fights, getting the card that exhausts the bullets is really important. But Serenial doesn't have an exhaust mechanic like that, it seems. Maybe she will with an Epiphany. We'll have to see overall how that works out. But sometimes the homing lasers, if you just draw 1, it can be kind of a dead draw, and you can't really do anything with it, or at least not as much as maybe something else is maybe more beneficial. So this can kind of help with that. Again, I think the create 2 is a little bit more important than the draw 1, but we'll have to see. And of course we have the rest of these also. Most players will not get to +3. Even like spenders probably won't get to it. So just read these at your leisure overall. Of course, with a seasonal combatant, we also have a seasonal partner in Peko, and like Serenial, she will not be added to the pool. However, she might come back in the future. In fact, you can pretty much guarantee they will. They say May just to cover their bases, but based on other Smilegate games I played before, she will come back probably around this time next year, and probability are the same. Mileage is handled the same way. Also, unlike the combatants, the partners will be in the shop and just straight up buy them for 300. So I'll be honest with you, if you're close to 300 like I am, I think I'm at like 270 or something like that right now, just buy the partner for the 300 and just kind of be done with it overall. And maybe you have like a 10 pull, you do want to just to see, you can do that. But that's what I would do, I'll be honest with you. She does seem like she's going to be best in slot overall. So she has a damage increase. She also has a mechanic where when cards are removed from the graveyard, like Serenial does, you get even more damage, up to 3 stacks. You also get more damage based on Ravage. So obviously a lot of things that are just fine tailored to work with Serenial. And you also have a pretty low cost EP skill at 3, where you do more damage to the enemy overall, increase critical and all of that good stuff. Now, if you're wondering on other partners you can use, obviously there's that 3-star everybody likes. I forget her name. She draws you 2 cards, and after that, it's hard to say because the thing, a lot of the hunter combatants partners are pretty specific to who they want to be used on, and because Serenial doesn't have bullets, the 2 bullet partners, which are going to be Kiara and Janice, are not going to be really good on her. So you really only have the 3-star, this one, and I guess the Battle Pass partner also, which I would also probably not use over this one either. So again, if you do have the currency, I do recommend you buy this, or if you want to, you can just try to get lucky and summon it also. So the new Hyperspace Basin will be released. So we haven't done the current one. I recommend you do that pretty quickly because it's going to go away pretty soon. Some new chaos changes and notes, stuff like that, so we can see what all that is when we get to it. Also, new excursion improvements. So this is the thing where if you have a character favorited in the Unigram, they'll always appear in the areas. However, it does seem like they can still appear in areas that are locked. So you'll be able to see where they are, but you'll still have to unlock those areas to actually go on the excursion. So I guess it's kind of like you're looking at them through a telescope or binoculars, like a creeper, and then you can like unlock. I don't know. What, like, don't question it. New battle mission Abyss added. So it seems like they're adding a new difficulty to the story mode, which is going to be Abyss, of a higher level than hard difficulties. So it says chapters 1, 2, 3 they'll be adding. Also, Battle Mission Chapter 8 will also be released. So I'll be honest with you, I haven't even done 7 myself. But if you're like low on credits, if you're low on upgrade material, stuff like that, do these. A lot of good currency and bonus stuff you can get just for doing these, and they are relatively easy to do. So again, if you need a little bit of a currency boost, go and run these story missions. Arc City disaster scenario improvements. So this is the thing where you use those like policy cards and everything like that, and this seems more like quality of life stuff and the little things that we can also do, like sorting, affinity level, stuff like that. So we'll have to see exactly how this plans out. I don't really have a problem with the disaster scenario, except for the fact that it seems like you're always fighting kind of a losing battle in just using all the policies and everything's go. And then like once you finish everything, they go all the way back down. So hopefully they make it so it's a little less tedious to do, but overall, not a big issue with the whole thing. There is some fate changes and improvements. Fates are those 3 cards you can pick at the start of each level of a chaos, and 2 of them are being reworked, and a bunch of them are going to be changed overall, or buffed overall, I should say. So the 2 reworked ones are Satiety. This is the one that was called Laziness before, and I don't know why they changed it from Laziness, but instead of giving us 10 more health, you now attain 1 common neutral card, which is much worse than, because 10 health wasn't even that bad. 1 neutral card though is just like a debuff. It's 1 random card is actually a negative thing, because there are very few common neutral cards that are actually good, And the other thing is too is that the card you get, even if it's a good card, is put onto I believe it's put onto a random combatant. On top of that, if the card's bad, you have to remove the card, and neutral cards can be epiphanized, which means it takes up an epiphany spot of another card. So let's say you only get like, I don't know, 16 epiphanies in a run, and which is a lot, right? But there's a chance that one card you want won't get epiphanized because you just kind of run out of epiphanies that you proc during the run overall. Not to say there's a limit that epiphanies you can get during the run, but in my experience, people's experience too, epiphanies, don't happen every single time you go to an event or go into a fight. It is kind of random, and there's a good chance that this random neutral card you get at the start of the run will be epiphanized over maybe something that's more important. So there it is. Also, the Aether Eater one is also going to be changed to having elite monsters decreased by 20%, which is pretty good, I think, because some elites are kind of annoying. I'll be honest with you, for elites, I think the only ones that are really hard are either the ones that you had to fight really early on, or ones that are empowered. Because later on, in a lot of maps, the elites are actually not as bad as some of the normal mobs, like the stupid dog, the dog mob, or whatever it's called. So some of them are also being buffed, so instead of getting one piece of legendary equipment from elite areas, we now get 2, so 1 for each battle for the next 2 times, which is okay, right? Sure. So another one is decrease health by 50%, and upon arriving at a waypoint, obtain 2 legendary pieces of equipment. Wait. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I have ever seen this one. Tenacity? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is one from a area I haven't unlocked the fate yet for. Because this one, I'm pretty sure I've never seen this one before. So it must be for one of the chaoses that I haven't really done a lot of. Hope. So upon normal battles, there's a 30% decrease of rare piece of equipment as a reward. So now, same thing, but you can get a rare to legendary equipment for the reward too. This one was already pretty good, but now it's even better. Next one, lose 100 credits, gain 1 random legendary neutral card, and now it's 50 credits, and you can choose one of 3, which is a lot better. Like, a lot better. So the way this works is that, unless they changed it before, because I haven't picked this in a long time, because I'll be honest with you, this is one of the worst fates you can get, because not only was it too expensive at 100 credits, but a lot of times the legendary neutral you got sucked, and I believe you also did not get to choose who it goes on. So hopefully you can also choose who the legendary neutral card goes on. However, I still think this is kind of subpar overall, because most of the time you don't really want to pick up a lot of neutral cards in the first half anyway, because you want to epiphanize your core cards first. So we'll have to see the value of this overall. Next one, upon each victory in an identified area, you get 50 credits. Now just go into them, you get 25 credits, which is a lot easier to do. Honestly, this one was pretty bad because there are very few identified areas where you really want to fight. And even if you do, just the time it takes to do the fight is something that I think a lot of people don't want to take. Gluttony is the one where you decrease your current health by 30%, and then when you get 10 credits each time you move, now you just get 10 credits, no more health reduction. I'll be honest with you, this one was already one of the best ones, I think, in terms of just gaining a lot of credits. I don't think this one had to be changed at all, but they did anyway, so cool. The shop discount one is now going to be 100% off for a random item up to 3 times, which is fine. I mean, you can basically get a free item 3 times in the shop, which might or might not be good. The problem is that sometimes it will be like a card that you don't really want to get overall. But if it's gear or a good card that you really want to pick up, that's also going to be okay, right? So I would say this first one here, kind of useless. The second one here could be useful sometimes. Tranquility. So this is the one where you if you mind break, you get to use those cards, and if you just do those by 1, now it's going to be by 2, which could come up in some higher difficulty runs where fights last a little bit longer. I think for most things, when people just farming for save data, this doesn't really matter, but for people pushing higher levels of things for some reason, this could make or break a run. And then Persevere, this is the one where you just recover some health at the end of the battle. This is also one that I thought was already pretty good, especially if you kind of played around with it a little bit. But now you recover a little more health. I think this is more because Mika is just so strong in Chaos as a healer, and everybody else was being kind of compared as a support, as a healer to her, which isn't really fair because other characters offer other things that Mika doesn't. But that's what I think why this is here for, so other characters can act as more do their role and not really have to worry about his healing as often when they get this fate. So that is also something that is going to come up. Alright, yeah, now we get to everybody's favorite thing, spending money. And okay, well, the packs in the shop, everything like that. So we need to spend some money to get some more summons and stuff. Well, here you go. Yes. Improvements here, some QOL improvements. Actually a lot of stuff here. So case map, so display more area on a single screen. Material stuff, simulation, codas, remaining codas of record, distinction stuff from achievements. A red dot will now appear in the custom room with unclaimed rewards. Corrupted data per compatible increase from 10 to 100. So what this means is that if you are mind broken, you can do 100 runs now in that mind broken state before you have to actually go and cure them of their trauma. So nothing like delaying mental trauma, especially in CZN. So more maximum character data will be so yeah, okay, sure. So more help menu stuff here. So you go down here. Okay, this is one I saw that was really big. People complained about this a lot, but equipped mythic grade equipment can be replaced with another mythic grade item of the same part. So if you don't know, if you have a purple item, which is the mythic item, and let's say you have a weapon, and you get a better mythic level weapon, well, right now, you cannot replace it because you already have a mythic weapon equipped, even though you just replace another mythic with a mythic. You can replace it with a legendary or a rare weapon for some reason, but no, not another mythic weapon, but after the patch, you can. All this other stuff here, you can read at your leisure. It's just kind of a lot of stuff that's going on. Just, small text things that they're changing to make this a little more clear. Okay, so also some bug fixes, and you can read all of these too if you want to. Again, a lot of random things. A lot of it are just sound issues and some different weird errors that might appear, and some other bugs also. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you want to see more videos like this or anything related to CCN or any other games that you might want to see, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching to the end. I'm Neptune. It's been a good one. Till next time.